All right, so last time we learned how to factor polynomials by factoring out a greatest common factor. We learned how to factor this basic trinomial, where the leading coefficient was 1, into the product of two binomials. We learned that sometimes when we factored these, we got a perfect square. And we learned how to factor the difference of squares. Okay, so the only one we have left is a trinomial in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, but this time the a is not going to be 1. Okay? These are harder. Okay? These are quite a bit harder, but you can do it. All right, let's start out by looking at the, let's multiply this out and see what happens. So if I multiply this, I get 3x squared. Then I multiply these, I get minus 15x. Multiply these two, and I get plus 2x. Multiply these, I get minus 10. Combine the like terms, and I get 3x squared minus 13x minus 10. Okay, so let's look at where each of these came from again. The 3x squared comes from the product of the first two. The minus 10 comes from the product of these two. Okay, the negative 13 comes from the minus 15x and the plus 2x, which comes from the sum of the product of these two. Minus 15x plus 2x is minus 13x. But notice before, when the a was 1, this a was 1, these were as simple to factor as finding two numbers to multiply to get this and add to get this. But notice that doesn't work anymore. 2 times negative 5, sure enough, they multiply to get negative 10. But they don't add up to be negative 13. 2 minus 5 is not negative 13. Okay, so if I told you to factor this, you would look and you would see this a is not 1. And you would say, uh-oh, this is one of the harder kind. Okay, I can't just find two numbers that multiply to get negative 10 and add to get negative 13. It's not that simple. What you have to do is come up with two numbers and multiply to get this. And you might have several choices. Two numbers that multiply to get this, and you may have several choices. And you have to keep trying combinations of those choices until you get it to work. Okay? So let's try one. Let's try to factor 35x squared minus 16x minus 12. Okay. Is there a GCF? No, no GCF. So let's try to factor this. Okay. What times what will get me 35x squared? Well, 7x and 5x, that'll work. Okay. I need two numbers to multiply to get negative 12. Okay, remember, it's not as simple as two numbers that multiply to get negative 12 and add to get negative 16. Because think of all the numbers we could multiply to get negative 12. You could have 1 and 12. No way to get a 16 out of that. You could have 2 and 6. No way to get a 16 out of those. You could have a 3 and a 4. No way to add those or subtract those to get a 16. So it's not that simple. So what are all of our choices to multiply to get negative 12? So we have 1 and 12, we have 2, 6, and we have 3 and 4. We don't know which ones are going to work right off the top of our head. We just have to try and see. Okay, so let's try the 1 and the 12. So let's put a 12 here and a 1 there, and let's see if it works. 35x squared, 7x, and 60x. No way to get us 16 out of a 7 and a 60. So those are not going to work. Let's put the 1 here and the 12 here. 35x squared. 7 times 12 is 84, I believe. And 5, no way to get a 16 out of that. Okay. So I've tried the 1 and the 12 combination. Both ways won't work. Let's go with the 3 and the 4. Here, 4 here. 35x squared, 28, 15. Can I get a 16 out of a 28 and a 15? No, won't work. Okay, so let's switch these around. Let's put a 4 here and a 3 here. 35x squared, 21 and 20. Can I get a 16 out of 21 and a 20? No, I either get 41 or 1. So those won't work. Okay, so it's not 3 and 4. Well, maybe it's 2 and 6. Let's try. 35x squared, 42x, 10x. Can I get a negative 16 out of a 42 and a 10? Well, 42 plus 10 is 52. 42 minus 10 is 32. So that won't work. So let's switch around. Let's put the 6 here and the 2 there. 35x squared, 14x, 30x. That seems promising. 30, or excuse me, 35. 30 minus 14 is 16. So I bet I've got it right if I can get the signs right. So I would want a minus 30 and a plus 14. All right, let's double check that. So 35x squared plus 14x minus 30x. 14 minus 30 is negative 16 minus 12. So finally, I got it after I checked all those different combinations. Okay, so you can see it's a lot of work. And sometimes maybe you get lucky and you get it on the first try. Sometimes you don't get it until the very last one. But the more of these you do, the quicker you'll be able to do them. And eventually you'll be able to get it right within the first guess or two. All right, so let's try another example. All right, so I have negative 16x squared plus 74x plus 30. And those are some pretty big numbers. Always, always, always check and see if there's a greatest common factor first. Always check for GCF first. So is there a number that'll go into 16, 74, and 30? Well, 2 will. And it's usually a good idea to make the leading coefficient positive. So let's factor out a negative 2. If I do that, I'll be left with 8x squared minus 37x minus 15. Good. All right. Now, can we factor this trinomial into the product of two binomials? So we need a number times a number to get 8x squared. So let's go with 4x, 2x. Here and here I need a number to multiply to get negative 15. So we either have 1 and 15 or 3 and 5. Let's try 1 and 15. 8x squared, 60x, 2x. No way to get a 37 out of that, so that's not going to work. Switch them. Put my 15 here, my 1 here. 8x squared, 4x, and 30x. I can't get a 37 out of a 4 and a 30, so that's not right. Let's try 5, 3. 8x squared, 12x, 10x. No way to get a 37 out of a 12 and 10. So that's not right. Switch. 8x squared, 20x, 6x. No way to get a 37 out of a 20 and a 6. You either get a 26 or a 14, not a 37. So, well, wait a minute. We tried 1 and 15. We tried 3 and 5. That's the only options, right? But we have more options for getting 8x squared. Not just 4x and 2x. We could also try 8x and 1x. Let's go back through all the options again. Let's try the 1 and the 15. 8x squared. 8 times 15. I don't know what 8 times 15 is. 2 times 15 is 30. So 4 would be 60. So it'd be about 120. It'd be something really big. And 1x, you're not going to get a 37 out of it. So that's not going to work. Switch those around. 15 and 1. 8x squared. We get an 8x and a 15x. 15 plus 8 is not 37. 15 minus 8 is not 37. No way to make that happen. Let's try the 3 and the 5. 8x squared, 24x, 5x. 24 plus 5 is 29. 24 minus 5 is 19. None of those are 37, so that's not going to work. Switch those around. Put the 5 here and the 3 here. 8x squared, 40x, 3x, ding, ding, ding. I can get a 37 out of a 40 and a 3. 40 minus 3 is 37. All right, so I need a negative 37, so I'll need a minus 40 and a plus 3. All right, let's double check that. 8x squared minus 40x plus 3x is minus 37x minus 15. Finally, I got it after trying every single possibility. All right. When you watch me do it, it's long to watch me do it. But the only way you're going to get good at doing these is to practice. Okay? You have to do them yourself, and you have to try all the possibilities until you figure it out. The more you do, the faster you'll get. You have to be really good at multiplying these two together. You have to be able to do it quick. You have to be able to multiply these, those in your head pretty fast in order to ever make progress. But the more you do, the better you'll get, and you'll be able to figure it out.